Fan today. We have our biggest social event coming up in Charm City Countdown. It's 10 days away, and then we have our biggest service event coming up with MLK Day of Service, which is 2 weeks behind that, and hopefully we'll get some people join us for both of those things, but also get to explain more about who we are and what we're doing, and attract more like-minded people. The long-term goal really is to once we get it built out in Baltimore, we get CityFam really operating like a well-oiled machine. We're going to open home, which will be a bar, but not a bar like any other bar in the world, a bar that's really a place of community where people can come and meet other like-minded people. It'll be a hub for all the CityFam people, but we'll facilitate a lot of volunteer events out of the place, and it's just a place where you can go and connect with other people on a social level to become a better version of yourself. It'll be built on sacrifice. It's a bar that I imagine in my mind where if you hang out, you will drink less. A bar that you could actually get sober in if there is such a place. And I really don't think there is any other place in the world like it. CBS Radio, or Intercom, I guess it's called now. About to go on 105.7 The Fan with Ed Norris and Rob Long, talk about CityFam. Bearing gifts because I went back.
Back on Dan Lebertard and Rob Manfred on the other side, but right now joining us from CityFam is Rob Kowalski. I mean, it's great things going on. The MLK Day of Service in Baltimore, where so many people dedicate their time and give their time for MLK holiday.
Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that and how CityFam is involved with that.
Awesome. First off, thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. So yeah, before I tell you about the event, really quickly, CityFam, where the idea came from, why we exist. So I used to be a club promoter in the city, picked up a lot of bad habits from being in that scene. CityFam's not faith-based, but for me, I gave my heart to Jesus when I was 27 years old, dropped out of the scene, started making better decisions. Life got super boring, found myself staying at home alone a lot. Church was great on Sundays, but just really struggling the rest of the week. And after a while, I went back to the bars because I just got bored and started picking up my old bad habits. Kind of made a little bit of a mess again, and then in 2011 I rededicated, and I went through that same period though for the first year. I just stayed in and ran at Redbox every night by myself because I just didn't know what to do with myself anymore. And I was like, wow, this is a major obstacle that people go through when they're trying to improve their life. Even if it's not, for me it was Christianity, but other people it just might be quitting drinking or quitting whatever, womanizing or whatever their thing is. It's super hard, like when you don't have other options for healthy alternatives. So at CityFam, we're all about two things: fun without regret. So we organize social events to give our members something to do on the weekends or sometimes on the weekdays. But we also give them opportunities to serve and give back, because when I started volunteering through my church, I started to like myself again. And if you're not a member of a church or a big like company or something that organizes, how do you volunteer? Because everybody's got it hardwired in them to give back. Yeah. So what we give people opportunities to volunteer in their community and when you do those two things, really, socialize in healthy community, start giving back, you become the best version of yourself. And that's what CityFam's all about. Okay. So we have two big events coming up. The first one is our biggest social event of the year, Charm City Countdown at the BWI Hilton. Mm-hmm. Going to have 1,500 people there celebrating, ringing in the new year. And then on January 15th, an event that we're really excited about is our biggest service event of the year, and that's MLK Day of Service. We'll have 200 people volunteering at all these different nonprofits all over Baltimore, and then we come together and enjoy a meal and share wins. So it's a great event.
What's Day of Service? What exactly are you doing to serve?
Yeah, so millions of people serve on Martin Luther King's birthday around the country. Right. So we are at, we've got opportunities lined up at Movable Feast, Our Daily Bread, Paul's Place, Civic Works, St. Francis. So we'll have 10, 20, 30 people at each of those places volunteering for about 4 hours. And then we all come together and celebrate, kind of share a meal and celebrate.
So is this something that people would want to, join for an ongoing life, to get involved in these things, to serve all the time? That's what it is.
It becomes a lifestyle, really.
How many things do you do per year?
So we do 1 or 2 social events per month and one
Okay.
service event every month.
Okay.
So last time I was on, if you guys remember, we did the Hug a Cop.
Yes.
Which Unity in the Community, which turned out to be a great event. But it's really kind of, I don't know if you've ever seen that TED Talk on Rat Park. So really quickly, I'll make it fast, but they took these rats and they put them in cages by themselves, one after the other, and after a while they introduced this water laced with heroin or cocaine. And what they found was 9 out of the 10 rats went over and drank the water till they overdosed and died. But then they took the rats and they put them in a cage with other rats. And they put in this maze called Rat Park. They let them establish some social dynamics. And then they introduced the water after that. And only 3 out of the 10 rats even tried it. And none of them drank till they overdosed or died. It was because they had options, right? They had things to do besides the wrong thing. And it's like, man, I see this opioid epidemic, and it's like, you can't just tell people not to use drugs. You got to give them things to do. Because I was the most determined person in the world to change. Right. And I white knuckled it for 6 years. And then I went back because I just couldn't do it anymore. So CityFam solves that problem. And it's not just about drugs. It really, when you don't have community, it manifests itself in a variety of ways. You know, it could be womanizing. It could be gambling. It could be anything. So that's who CityFam is. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and having a great time doing it. So
people who listen now, the heroes, they were in the same boat. Especially this time of year, people get reflective. And like, you know, he's right. Then
New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, drinking too much and like, whatever. There's no drugs and alcohol and bad habits to go around. So, I mean, there's plenty of people with them. How do we touch with you? Find out more.
they can go to cityfam.com is the website, and it's free to opt in to become a member. They can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the CityFam.
Yeah, and it's phonetic. It's just CityFam. It's just
Yes.
spelled like it sounds.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Rob Kowalski.
Thanks
Good
for
luck to
being
the
on.
event.
It's because I want to come back. Really got to share my heart, which was great. I wanted to talk more about CityFam than I did the actual events that we're doing, because I just think it's more important to get the message out there. I was just talking to Ed Norris, and you know, I shared a post. I don't know if y'all saw it. It was a couple years ago, but I was trying to convince him to run for mayor because it was when all the Freddie Gray stuff happened, and I thought he was the one guy that could have fixed it because the police trust him, and he's also a hard ass, and got 5,000 shares on the post. So it's got so many shares that people actually started calling him, the press and people from New York, and asking him if he was actually going to run. So they called me. I came up to CBS Radio to meet with him. I'm excited. I feel like I'm still got like butterflies. I felt grateful to be able to. I felt like I articulated the vision of the organization pretty well, and I know that they have probably thousands of listeners, so just getting the message out there, you know. Create content like we're going to create today and show people this group and this place, and people are going to see it wherever they're at in the world on social media or wherever, and they're going to be like, holy shit, I can't believe there's another, you know, there's a group like this. So I can't believe, because I believe that there's a lot of people out there like us, and no one's cultivated them, no one's brought them together. So when they see it, they're going to be inspired, and we're going to, you know, they're going to fly themselves in, and we're going to put them up for a week, and we're going to take them to some events and take them to home, and then send them back to their city, their hometown, and say, hey, now you go and do it yourself. And we're going to start a worldwide movement. Just got to WMAR Television. Interview with the fan went really good.
CityFam is a movement of like-minded people who want to do life together. They also raise money for various charities around the city and coordinate volunteer efforts so the members can give back and make a difference. Joining us now to tell us much more, CityFam co-founder Rob Kowalski. Rob, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. And look, I mean, CityFam, I think people hear the term, they're not quite sure what that is. Talk about it.
That's why I'm here. So it makes the most sense when I share my story a little bit. I used to be a nightclub promoter, and I picked up a bunch of bad habits from being in that scene. And CityFam is not faith-based, but for me, I gave my heart to Jesus when I was 27 years old. Started making better decisions, but life got super boring, and I found myself staying in a lot. And I was looking for a group of people to kind of, do life with, like you mentioned. And I couldn't really find a group that I related to, and basically white knuckled it for about 6 years alone, and then went back to the bars because I just was like, I wanted to enjoy life again. I wanted to be around people, and picked up my old bad habits, made a mess, rededicated. Back in 2011, was able to quit drinking shortly thereafter. But that first year, I went through the exact same thing where I was staying at home alone a lot, renting Redbox movies because I just didn't know what to do with myself anymore. And what I realized was, like, this is a major obstacle that people go through when they're trying to make better decisions or just live a better life, whether it's maybe quitting drinking or maybe they're getting out of a relationship. You need to have alternatives for things to do that fun without regret. Is one of our terms. So I was actually volunteering through the church that I went to at the time, and I was really liking myself again, and by giving back. So I thought, there must be other people that want to volunteer that, maybe they're not religious or whatever. And I started looking for worthwhile causes to volunteer at, and I knew how to promote. So by promoting social events and service events, I was able to really become the best version of myself and saw other people do the same thing.
And I like that you mentioned the service events because I know your organization is a bit about a service. I like what you said about two extremes, a wild party over here, maybe stay home at night over here. You guys find that comfortable middle ground.
Exactly.
And you have a big upcoming event. Maybe people can get involved with MLK. Is that right?
Yeah. So millions of people volunteer on Martin Luther King's birthday around the country. And for us, it's our biggest service event of the year. We'll have about 200 people volunteering all over Baltimore. We have 10 different nonprofits lined up: Civic Works, St. Francis Center, Movable Feast, Our Daily Bread. So we'll have people, 10, 20, 30 people at each of those nonprofits, and then we'll all come together and enjoy a meal and celebrate wins. So people can sign up on the CityFam website if they want to get back into volunteering, which again is one of the things that we really pride ourselves in. Is we get a lot of people that wanted to volunteer maybe for years, they just didn't know how to get started. So we make it really easy, we make it fun, and like I said, people become the best version of themselves when they start giving back, getting their eyes off themselves, and putting them on others.
Well, it's well said. Rob Kowalski, thanks so much for coming in today, telling us all about CityFam, and we will look to see you out there on MLK Day, sir.
Awesome, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming in.
I mean, I'm glad I got the opportunity to go on and share, but I don't feel as warm and fuzzy as I did
With the radio?
with the fan now. But it's good. I mean, I'm grateful. What do they say? Any exposure is good exposure, I guess.
There you go.